A show that tackles the big issues affecting the BVI and the rest of the Caribbean. Searches for answers to today's big questions and gives viewers a unique perspective on developing stories. Follow the big story with me, Kathy Richards, only on GTV. This show is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Ramney Turtola Pier Park, NV Salon, Nail Spa and Barbershop, Tisley Cross Deliciously Smooth Cider, and Digicel, simply more speed, reliability and entertainment.
Tisley Cross Cider. Tisley Cross Cider. Deliciously smooth.
This is The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this edition. On this edition, we want to focus on why families matter. And when family matters, communities come together. Hence, on set with me today are Miss Diane Drayton, the Public Relations Officer for the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, and epidemiologist, Ms. Harmony Bruley Messiah. I want to welcome you ladies to the set. And like I say, when family matters, communities come together.
Okay. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, so with this initiative, let's have a conversation to understand. We know epidemiologists and we know the police body, and we're talking family. Ms. Drayton, could you lead us off to tell us what really is happening, what's in the thoughts of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force?
We are hoping to begin an initiative called Family Fridays. We are trying to create opportunities and incentives for families to get together. That's young and old. We are recognizing that the breakdown of families and connectivity is cause for a lot of the issues that we're having in our societies today. We're talking about domestic violence, child abuse, the elderly not being cared for properly. And I think a lot of the ills that are now affecting our society, particularly are young people who feel disconnected, and those who are raising them feeling that's another generation. We can't tackle the issues of that generation anymore. We are reconnecting so that values, the morals, the culture can be passed down, that which you're hearing a lot of people talk about. We weren't like this when we were young. We were so much more respectful, friendly, gentle. I remember it, and I know that it's still a part of our culture. However, it's not being passed down to the younger generation. This whole initiative is called Family Fridays. We're hoping to launch it on August 5th, Festival Friday. And that really is to try to incentivize, again, the gathering of folks through having the backyard barbecue on that Friday evening. You might say, why Friday? It goes nicely with Family Friday,
yes.
But it also provides the one day that we're almost saying, do it, post your pictures or show us how you're doing it, and we will, we can see a number of prizes coming out of it, but it is really just to create the opportunity for families to get together.
Yes. But what about those who say, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force engaged in such an activity? Aren't you just to protect and serve? Why focus on this?
Well, we are the ones that are seeing the types of incidences that are appearing on a weekly report. I see them personally, and so much of it is because individuals are isolated. They cannot pass on. We're not talking about just the parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, they're the ones that will speak to a young man or woman and say, you know, you shouldn't be doing that anymore, or wear your helmet, or that's not respect. We didn't have that kind of respect. More than that, we can share love, support. I know it would be very hard for a youngster to take any, you know, moral lessons if there isn't the relationship. And so often, I know that's my sister's son, but I don't connect with them. We need to have that restored in our communities so we can make a difference. I am seeing it on a regular basis. We had hoped to launch this last year.
Yes, this is a discussion we've been having for quite a while now.
Yes, but the pandemic was here. We discussed whether it was a good time because many people would feel that they're encouraging people to get together and the police force or others should be discouraging separation. We believe now is the time. We have a lot of things going on in our society. The whole reason for it now is to make the opportunities for people to reconnect, and we're hoping that as we speak, many more will say, that's a good idea. I've always thought of that. I'm the aunt. I'm gonna bring them over. You know, cut away the offenses and the bridges that have been broken and restore relationships.
Okay. Harmony, I'll come to you in just a little bit. Oh, what would you say to those persons who are watching and listening to you as the PR for the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force and saying, why don't you start inside your house, inside the police force?
Actually, we've been initiating it right there within the force. And we're asking police officers to do their own thing. So it might be a shift. They're getting together with food on a Friday evening and doing the same. Because there are relationships that break down for whatever reason. And we're hoping that through that, we could see relationships restored. We know it could happen with our next door neighbor. But we're also encouraging officers, if you're off, go and link with it's not just families, it's neighbors. Invite a neighbor. Yes. Be a part of a community that's building and restoring. So yes, within the force, there's going to be a lot more of that. I knew it came from the top. We want officers to partake in this initiative as well. Take the pictures, show that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Awesome. So Harmony, where are you coming in this?
Well, we heard about the initiative, and Miss Patrice Maduro, who's our public health nutritionist, and I, we were like, well, this is actually a very excellent initiative, because we were in prior talks with social development on how we can actually start to reach the community, because all of what she's talking about, you know, bridging the gap, building stronger relationships, this also falls under the umbrella of public health, protecting, promoting, serving the community, you know, empowering them, giving them the lessons, the skill sets they need in order to, you know, foster better health and wellness within their unit and within the community. So when we heard about it, we were like, we can actually incorporate that into the initiatives that we want to start to present and roll out into the community. So So right now, we're actually working very closely with Diane in how to exactly empower and start to give back to the community. Because, like she's rightfully saying, prevention is actually better than cure. During COVID, a lot of studies were coming out from the LSC, the Latin American and Caribbean countries, about the increase in interpersonal violence, like domestic abuse, parental conflict with youth, early sexual initiation of youth, and all of these things are actually public health crises. We haven't exactly done studies here locally, but if this is what we're seeing reflected within our sister countries within the Caribbean, and Diane rightly said they have actually seen increases here, then we too need to put in the necessary interventions in order to help control this, because before this becomes a real problem.
At your level, what have you been seeing in those areas that have been studied Caribbean-wise?
So at the local level,
Yeah.
so at the local level, like Diane rightfully said, we've actually seen the increase in domestic violence. We've actually seen the increase in the interpersonal violence, that is the parental conflict with the youth. Right now, later this year, we want to do our youth sexuality survey so we can get an idea of whether or not there have been increases in or what I would like to say, a decrease in the age of onset for sexual initiation amongst youth. And all those things will be the cornerstone on which we develop our interventions and our platforms in order to reach the community. Because in order for you to implement interventions and programs and strategies, you need to have the underlying research. We can't just always rely on big data. We have to get more accustomed as a community and as a country of being assessed and interviewed and being researched so that we can actually have the evidence to say, this is a problem, this will become a problem, let's nip it in the bud from now. Because prevention is a lot cheaper than actual cure.
Yes, yes. We are seeing, and it's happening worldwide. We're not in a nutshell
Unique.
ourselves with what's happening. More than anything else, the economics of daily living is definitely going to be taking a greater toll on families and causing stress levels to go above normal, and these are reasons why even more we need to be each other's keeper. And talk to me a little bit about that and how we can influence each other to help. We can't necessarily find a way to just put more money in your pocket so you could go and get more food at the supermarket, but there is something each of us can do for another to help.
So at the family level, we have to understand that the structure of the family is actually the first agent of socialization that youth encounter. So families, especially parents, are directly influential on the physical, mental, emotional, and social development of the child. We already know from a lot of longitudinal studies that children who grow up in positive, caring, nurturing, affectionate families have better life outcomes and trajectories than those who are brought up in families that have the challenges. So we definitely want to tackle that by putting in the early interventions, like early parenting classes. We want to reestablish going back out into the communities and doing the home visits for new parents. We want to start now identifying at-risk youth, identifying those underlying variables that is causing that breakdown, and then really go in and understand contextually and culturally what is it that is really affecting our youth here and what needs to be put in place to help better them.
How can other organizations collaborate in this initiative?
And I should have said that from the get-go. The BVI, Chamber of Commerce and Hotel Associations, they were the first agency to come on board. I pitched it at Miss George, Jackson George. She said, sure, we are on board. She then put it out to her, those that are part of the association, and a number of them have given us feedback that they want to be able to make their contribution. Restaurants are going to be are now going to provide discounts for families over 7 and even a greater discount for families over 12 who come to eat on Family Fridays.
I wish you can do it for 5.
Yeah, I was saying that because I'm losing out. I don't have a family of 7.
Well, there's so many families that
the single parent structure. Yes,
I would love to get it.
It's forcing more into that family network. So if you don't have enough, invite a couple of neighbors.
Okay, I got it.
Just begin to.
I got it.
So much of what is happening in our society and the segregation is out of ignorance. We don't know about you. We don't know that you are having to deal with the same stresses I have to deal with. But guess what? I bring new things to the table, new solutions, and all of a sudden, hey, I didn't think about that.
Yes.
This we throw money on a lot of issues, and I'm not saying that we don't need, the economics to be where it needs to be. I do have child care expenses, food expenses, but there's so much more we could learn about coping in this season and in this time through somebody else's input. But segregated, a mother feels, I'm sorry, Ms. Drayton, I have 2 jobs because who's going to feed those kids? If we can, I don't take away those stresses. I don't ignore them. But what I would like to see is people saying, you know what, in the long term, I need to make this sacrifice. I need to mend those bridges with that sister who, we don't talk anymore. Try to find common ground so my children can benefit from having these people in their lives, because it takes the neighbors to help me raise. It takes my family to help me raise my son. They have things to contribute to their lives and to creating wholesome adult lives.
And people will tell you from experience that, yes, I'm a single parent, mom or dad, and I've been running between 2-3 jobs. But then when I look back and I reassess what my child would have missed out from me not being there, or me just having not enough time, I'm too tired when I get home. Look at the disadvantages that would have arisen as opposed to the advantages from doing such a thing.
Exactly.
So sometimes it takes sometimes just those persons who would have had the experience before to help guide you, to show you that sometimes it's more than just killing 3 jobs.
Exactly. So humans are social creatures, and we benefit more by having a strong supportive network, and that network does not have to be blood family, which is why our villages had a strong, what we call a social capital, meaning you could rely on them. You will know that they will look after your children. They will intervene if you can't intervene, and we have to get back to that, because right now, who is your neighbor? Do you know them? Do you know their children? Have you taken the time out to meet and greet them? Because these are persons who might come to your aid if need be. Too often I see us pushing this us versus we narrative. And for me, once you are here and you care about the BVI, you care about the people, then by extension, you are family.
You're family.
And that is really what we should be focusing on, because communities that actually have that strong social network and capital actually have lower crime rates. The people feel more included, which means they're more likely to be involved in activities that directly impact that community. Things like cleaning, things like beautification, things like pouring money into the upkeep of things. And this is what we need. We want people to feel like and be invested in the community, because at the end of the day, it's going to benefit their families and their health.
Yes, generally. And if persons want to log on to this program, how can they do that?
Yes, they're welcome to call me. My number is 368-5410. They can call me directly, Diane Drayton. What we will be having is at the various police stations with public health and at the BVI Chamber of Commerce. We're gonna have these cards that say Family Fridays. We're asking people to come and pick them up so they can get the discounts that restaurants are offering. Right now, a number of restaurants have already said, count me in. Sebastian is one, the Village Key is another, Leverick Bay is another. The others have just said, come tell me more about it, because I would like to be part of anything that helps the community. I am overwhelmed with the response from even these restaurant owners. We intend to appeal to the hoteliers and the various villa owners to have families come for a night out, and just get away from the environment they found themselves in.
Services,
Exactly.
So often you run into children, especially teenagers and all, who would say, I've never been to any gala.
Yes,
been
exactly.
to Yes Van Dyke. I've never been to Virgin Gorda, and you feel like, how could you be living in the Virgin Islands and be at this age and
That's
not?
right.
But how family structures are. Mom and dad is always at work. We don't get time to do this. It's school, home, church. That's
Exactly.
Right.
it. And to move from your regular environment
Absolutely.
for even if it's just once a quarter,
Yes.
Yeah.
will
Yes.
go a far way. So
Yes.
we want to
Yes.
appeal to the boat operators. I jump in the spot in for that.
Yes, yes. And yacht owners. And he got a beach hotel. He said, count us in as well because we have discounts. Really good discounts for local families.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes. So even you guys will have to take on the deals.
I've never been to any gathering.
Okay.
Oh, wow, look how I
yeah,
see
that's
that.
it,
Yes, yes. And it's beautiful. That's the whole reason for it. From 9 months to 99 years.
Yes.
We don't want to exclude the elderly too. I
Yes.
see too many who are trying to make it alone. And they do have families here. They have people, they have neighbors. We need to include them in what our activities
you know
are.
something about the elderly, I've dealt with quite a number of them, and I guess you would have too, Harmony. They love their space.
Yes.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
so accustomed to their independence. It's
Yes.
so hard to allow others in this. But there are ways in which you can do it. Invite them out for, or just come. Oh, I just come to have a tell me about your days back in the
Yes.
60s and so, little gaps and stuff opens them up, and when they open up,
You can't leave.
That's
you
right.
can't. You can't. You're there for
That's right.
hours.
That's right. That's right.
They love to talk. And the thing about the elderly is in order for you to, I guess, stave off like dementia and Alzheimer and the negative psychological impact of aging, having that strong network amongst friends is very important. You do need to encourage the elderly to get out and socialize. Because remember, as you age, you're going to be losing friends and family as they die.
Yes.
So the network gets smaller and smaller, and soon they become isolated.
Yeah.
So that's a problem that we have seen increasing throughout the Caribbean. It is a subset of what we'll call elderly abuse. Simply because of the psychosocial impact it has on them. So those are things that we do have to address as well. Healthy aging, because we do project that our elderly population will make up 25% of our population, and that's a lot. And we have to have structures in place from now to help them age gracefully in place.
Okay, awesome. So, Harmony, we would have heard from Ms. Drayton how to get in contact with her, how people can get in contact with public health.
I think too many people have my number.
Well, generally, you're not a really
Oh my
public
goodness!
health.
Yeah, from COVID, they can reach us at 468-2274 or 468-2282. Those are the main lines that they can call, and they'll be able to get in contact. Or they could just pop down and have a discussion if they want, and to pick up the coupon for their Family Fridays.
Awesome. Any parting words? Ms.
Yes. What I want to say is from now till August 5th, we want people to post their family reunions or family photos and hashtag Family Fridays BVI.
Awesome.
Hashtag Family Friday BVI. And what happens when that is posted, we can see, and maybe some of those photographs will certainly end up on a poster or displayed.
Yes.
Nice.
But we want to encourage and we want to see this. People need to take it upon themselves and say, that's a good idea, I'm going to do that.
Awesome. And remember, even if you don't have your blood family, you have your neighbors. And March 14 was my birthday, and I got a gift from a group of friends. On that bottle of wine says, friends are the family you choose.
Correct.
I refuse to even drink
Drink
the
it.
wine or cherish that gift so much. And that speaks a lot to what we can do for others. So if you don't have your direct family, your blood family, remember your friend circle too can be the family you choose. Love on yourself, love on your neighbors, love on your your community, love on everyone around you. And let's do the Family Friday Challenge. I want to thank you ladies so much for coming and share this. We're ending the week on a great note. I really love it. And again, I wish this program every success, and whatever we can do to help continue to push it, we will. Thank you
Thank you
again.
so
Thank you
much,
for having
Kathy.
us.
And thank you for joining us for this edition of The Big Story.